The play-in tournament decides it all. Tomorrow we will see the Chicago Bulls take on the Toronto Raptors in the first round of the play-in tournament. Of course, being the 9 seed going against the 10 seed, there's a lot of implications that are going into this. So in today's video, I want to be covering everything you need to know about tomorrow's play-in game, what it means for the Bulls if they are to win and or if they are to lose, and go over all the stats of players, teams, and everything like that. So let's go and get right into things. Let's not waste any more of your time. First things first, I want to talk about some of the implications from tomorrow's game. Of course, 9 seed going against a 10 seed. What that means in the play-in tournament is the winner of this game will be going against the loser of the 7 versus 8 seed matchup on the other side of the play-in tournament in the Eastern Conference. So you're going to see the Bulls, if they are to make it through this game, go ahead and take on that 7th and or 8th seed matchup. But if they are to lose, then that's their season. End of things right there. Just with a simple loss, your season is completely over and you don't get another shot in this year's playoffs. Now, what that could mean for the Bulls offseason wise, it would give them a shot, technically speaking, to still get their lottery pick, but it would pretty much be near impossible with a below 1% chance of it actually occurring, but there's still a real shot of it somehow occurring if all the other odds are to fall into place under the right circumstances. Now, if they don't, which they likely won't end up getting that lottery pick, if they are to lose in the play-in tournament, that is going to put a big damper on this year's offseason. You have Vucevic being a free agent, you have Kobe White being a free agent, you have Ayo Dosunmu being a free agent, and you have a lot of guys that you really don't know what's going on. DeMar's getting old. A lot of people are wanting to see Caruso get moved, like other teams want Caruso on their team, so maybe the Bulls decide to move on from him. There's a lot of things that are going to be going on. But, of course, if the Bulls are to win, they go against the winner of the 7th versus 8th seed, which is going to be the Hawks versus the Heat. Sorry, the Bulls will go against the loser of that. So if the Heat win, the Bulls face the Hawks. If the Hawks win, the Bulls face the Heat. And they'd have to win that game to get that 8th seed in the playoffs. A lot of things going on, but we want to focus mainly on this game. The next thing I want to talk about is going to be team stats for each team. So I compiled the major statistical categories of both these teams. Of course, that's going to be your points, shooting percentages. I also added how much you're shooting threes because that's a big factor in this game. Rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, all those categories we're going to be carrying team by team, and then an overall comparison at the end here. Points. First number is always going to be Bulls. Second number is going to be Raptors, just so it's a little bit simpler. The points, 22nd versus 24th. So pretty close here between the Bulls and the Raptors on regards to who's going to score the most points. They're both sitting somewhere, below league average, but in the realm where it could either be a total, a box out for this because how close their points are, or someone else could take over, throughout some of these games. It's only one game. So it's just what you come with. In that first game, in that first quarter, I think it's going to be a big factor in all this. And scoring points is going to be a huge matter for both the Bulls and the Raptors in this game. For a field goal percentage, the Bulls are 4th. One of the best in the league at knocking down shots. Now, of course, that does come in big regards to not taking a whole lot of threes, but we're going to cover that in a second. They're not bad in the threes department. As for the Raptors, they're 27th in field goal percentage. They don't knock down a whole lot, and it's not coming because of their threes either. As we're going to talk about here in a second, they're 21st in 3 attempts per game. They're not shooting a bunch. They're just not great inside or outside the arc. So the Raptors being at 27th and the Bulls being at 4th in field goal percentage, I think can play a big part in this game, and I think will play a big part in this game once it comes down to it. If the Raptors and the Bulls play at their average, what their expectancy is based on stats, the Bulls should come out on top on this, plus because they average more points per game. So good in that regard. 3-point percentage, Bulls are 16th, right in the middle at 3-point percentage, and the Raptors are 28th. Raptors, not very good at 3-point percentage by any means. Now, of course, they are 21st in 3-point attempts, so they're not shooting a lot. They're not losing games because of the amount of shots that they're putting up and their percentage from 3, but still, maybe you don't have to get a hand out just as quickly, and that's kind of a good thing for the Bulls that sometimes struggle with closing out and oftentimes allow a lot of threes. You can't, of course, just let them have it because they can quickly turn it around with the roster they do have. They could shoot and make these shots if it came down to it, but that at least gives you a little bit more leeway because they're not knocking down these shots. As for the Bulls, 16th in three-point percentage and 30th in three-point attempts. They do not attempt a lot, and I don't expect that to change in this matchup here. But when they do attempt some, they're a pretty good shooter, and that's because, of course, Patrick Williams and Zach LaVine being some of the best shooters in the league. After that, you're going to be looking at some of these rebounds. Rebound numbers, 22nd for the Bulls, 18th for the Raptors. I feel like the Raptors should be a little bit higher because they normally run, some bigger guys at the bottom end there with OG, with Pascal, and I think didn't they bring in another center at that trade deadline there? They got Scotty Barnes as well, Jakob Poeltl. I thought that the rebounds would be a little bit better, but 18th is not bad. 22nd for the Bulls. Of course, a lot of that's coming off of the bench for the most part, I'd say, because Drummond is a huge part of that. Although Vooch has done very, very good. I think Vooch averaged a little bit over a double-double in that regard. So rebounds pretty close here. Assists, 20th for the Bulls and 23rd for the Raptors. Not pass-heavy teams, which kind of makes sense because you look at DeMar DeRozan, you look at Zach, and they produce for themselves here. So a little bit below average in regards to your assist numbers, but not bad. For steals, Bulls are 7th. They're very, very good, but the Raptors are 1st. Raptors are the best in the league at getting steals. They are a really, really good team defensively. I mean, you take a look at the blocks, they're 9th in blocks. This is a phenomenal team defensively when it comes to the statistics. Now, the Bulls are top 10 for most of the year. I think they still might be top 10 right now in total defense, but the Raptors from steals and blocks are one of the best in the league. I'm not sure where they land overall in their defense, but Bulls 7th in steals and 19th in blocks. They get a lot of steals, maybe not so many blocks, but that is going, that's not such a bad thing. We take a look at some of the stats, some of the player stats. Of course, points leaders, rebound leaders, and assist leaders for the Bulls are going to be Zach LaVine, Vooch, and DeMar. That's their big three right there. Zach barely edges out DeMar DeRozan in points with 24.8 versus 24.5. I think both those guys are going to put some good numbers in. There's something in me feeling like, we're going to get a big-time 40-point game from one of these guys. And I also wouldn't be too surprised if we got 3 20-point scorers on this team. Whether that is Vooch, Zach, and DeMar, I'm not sure. It could really be anybody. I mean, Kobe's been doing really, really good off the bench, and you still got guys that can score. I'm not going to throw Patrick Williams out there, but he has the ability to score. I'm not sure if he's going to go score 20 when he hasn't done that a whole lot this year. I mean, Patrick Williams averaged 10.2 on the season. But Vooch, DeMar, Zach, they could definitely all get 20 and up. Although I think Vooch is going to have a tough matchup there with Pascal Siakam on in most of the game. And defensively, hopefully we can get some things going there on down below. You're going to have 24.8 from Zach, 24.5 from DeMar, 17.6 from Vooch, 10.2 from Patrick Williams. I think this is going to go pretty well. Offensively, I think there's going to get some stuff going. Hopefully defensively can keep up with it. They were top 10, of course. And the Raptors, maybe not the best, but they're not far off the Bulls offensively. We just covered the team stats there. And you look at the Raptors right here, points, rebounds, assist leaders are going to be Pascal, and then Fred VanVleet. They're really nothing to laugh at as well. I mean, steals, OG's got 1.9. He is incredible at getting steals. You also have Kolko with 1 blocks. And you take a look here at some of their points, although it's not as flashy as the Bulls with multiple 20-plus scores. You still got Pascal with 24.2. Fred VanVleet's pretty close to 20 with 19.3. Gary Trent Jr., 17.4. OG, 16.8. 15.3 for Scotty. Jakob Poeltl's got 13.1. They have more options on their team. You take a look here, you got 2, 4, 6 guys averaging over 10, and 5 of those guys averaging over 15, where you take a look at the Bulls, you only have 3 guys averaging over 15, only 2 over 20. And that's it. After that, it's down to 10. So maybe the Raptors have a little bit of an edge in that regard in getting points from other guys. If the Bulls can lock in, Patrick Williams has been one of the best defenders in the league at his position for most of the year. I think we can kind of agree on that. Alex Caruso, great defender. Ayo Dosunmu, last year, great defender. This year, kind of slid a little bit, but he still has it in him. If you can slow down a guy like Fred VanVleet, if you can slow down a guy like, I don't think you're throwing P. Will at Pascal, maybe sometimes, not the whole game. If you can slow down Fred VanVleet, if you can slow down OG or Scotty as well as Gary Trent, and you get him down to 2 or 3 options rather than 6, I think it can go pretty well for you. And, who knows, maybe P. Will guard Pascal. Pascal, mentally for me, feels a little bit too big, but maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe he's not as big as I think he is. But defensively, I think the Bulls can lock in. Now, the Raptors, definitely nothing to laugh at defensively. I mean, number 1 in steals, number 9 in blocks. They have a great defense as well. I just feel like the Bulls have a little bit more firepower offensively. But that's going to be the video. We covered everything you need to know about the Bulls versus Raptors play-in tournament Game 1 matchup. Hopefully, there will be a Game 2, and they will face the 7 versus 8 seed loser. That, of course, is a hope. But this is everything you need to know about that 9-10 matchup for the Bulls tomorrow night. So, if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. It truly means the world to me. And, comment down below what you think the final score will be for this game, and who do you think will win? And if you think the Bulls are going to win, who will they face in the second game of the play-in tournament? Comment all that down below. If you want to see more content like this, of course, playoffs are right here now for the NBA. More NBA content. We're breaking down all of the games, all this series, I should say, who I think is going to win, all the stats you need to know. And also for the Bulls, when it's playoff time and or off-season time, be covering videos on just that. If you want to see those, please subscribe. But, as always, I hope you taught something today. Hope it made you smile, hope it made you laugh. Something really important to me. Affects someone's day in a great way, because every single day can be a great day if you always put in the effort. And, as always, you guys all be safe out there.